You Gucci?
I'm Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
Oh, Gucci gang. Oh,
That's it
yeah.
right now, T-Nev.
Lil Pump. Yeah. Gucci gang. Oh, yeah.
Big head on the beat.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Gucci gang. Spread thin racks on new chain. Yeah. My bitch love do cocaine. Ooh, I fuck a bitch, I forgot name. Yeah.
Welcome to Fat Cat Barbecue's presentation of the Civ and the Pylon. It is I, Corey, your beloved Pylon.
And it is I, Sam, the Civ. What a brilliant idea for a sponsor,
I know.
Corey.
I really enjoy what those folks do there.
It's a really nice touch. They have great brisket and great ribs.
Yeah. Oh man, just not sleeping on those Saturdays. Actually, we figured it out.
Figured out a nap schedule. We still were awake for quite some time.
Yeah, it's kind of weird now because now that I'm working, I'm like such a fucking baby. I go to bed at 9, which I absolutely detested when I had a high-paying job in like the tile union. But now that I work in IT, I'm making like half as much money as I was doing tile. But I just like break up at like 5:45, all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to like eat breakfast, have a cup of Joe, and get to it.
You're way more high functioning in life right now than I am, but I celebrate it. Happy for you.
I mean, I don't know. You go for walks and shit. I went for my first walk yesterday, and it was
I
tough.
do take a lot of walks.
It was hard.
I'm in a stupid city with the dog.
For sure. I don't know. Do you think you're ever gonna get bored of city living?
No, I'm a city boy. I think also for me, I'd have to go like so drastically the other way, and then I would need city recharge. Like sometimes I think about when capitalism falls or whatever, and where I'll go. And I could see like building a little, armed commune scenario. But I love the city. I prefer walking in the city. Honestly, I like fucking seeing people. I don't know. I'm a people person boy.
Sure. I am when I favor them. If
That's
I don't
fair.
know you, I just loathe your existence, and you're like
That's
in my
fair.
way. I know it's a real
That's
hateful
fair.
thing to say,
Eh.
but speaking of city living and loathing things, let's talk about the Eastern Division. So I was prepping this. I was watching Boston and Washington duke it out. The East has just been a blast in general, and Boston and Washington have kind of been the two teams to watch for first place. If I had an interest in NASCAR, I'd made some like clever reference to like changing positions or something. But I'm just gonna go to what I know, and it's more like a game of Boggle. And every time you throw the letters down, you can spell out exciting with with these two teams. Boston did go 2-3 last week, earning them the fourth spot in the East in a two-way tie for fourth as of 6:58 on Friday. Okay, Pittsburgh split series with the Islanders and Flyers, getting in the real mix, 1 point out of playoff contention. Keep your eyes on them this week as well. They will have played Philly by the time this is out to the world, and have the Rangers and Buffalo this week, which they're probably gonna make a move here. Speaking of Buffalo, Sam, if you don't mind, can you buckle your seatbelt for me? It's story time, partner.
Putting it on. Okay.
Buffalo just continues to fuck up, dude. They're free falling. As of Friday, they have lost 9 of the last 11 and are last place, 1 point behind the Devils. First off, I have to say, if you watch a Sabers game, it's like the most selfish, aimless display on ice I've seen in a very long time. There's no cohesion, no forechecking, no creativity. If you're a Buffalo native, my sincerest apologies. It's just fucking brutal.
Told upstate New York is beautiful. I don't actually know where Buffalo is in New York, so maybe it's not up.
Isn't it? It's like
I think
northwestern New York,
yeah.
right?
I don't actually think it's what people say when they're talking about upstate New York. I don't think they're talking about Buffalo, but
No, they're talking
put it
about
out
like,
there. Lake Placid.
yeah,
A great movie. If people haven't watched it recently.
Um, I watched the post press conference on Thursday, and if you if you're not like a hockey or sports person, it would have been very fucking boring. But to me, it was kind of interesting. You got like the cliche answers from players, um, who just like dread addressing the media. Rasmus Ristolainen was like, "Yeah, we definitely don't like losing," and just was clear he wanted to get the fuck out of there. Um, but then Ralph Kruger comes on and he's asked if he's working on any changes to the system or the power play, and he says he can't reinvent the wheel, and kind of alludes to that his hands are tied when it comes to players he can put on the ice. Sort of passing the buck to the GM.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's no general hospital, but to me it's kind of interesting, like the soap opera going on, and it's like kind of well known. Taylor Hall signed in Buffalo because he liked playing under Ralph Kruger, and it's kind of assumed if Kruger gets the boot, Taylor Hall is not going to re-sign. He signed a 1-year deal. Between the Jeff Skinner miss we talked about last week, it's going to be very interesting to watch Buffalo go up in frames the next few months. Before
Especially
that,
not that many pieces to even sell. They're so bad. I mean, they have a couple big pieces, but
yeah,
they're bad. They're really
yeah.
bad up and down the team.
Before that happens, though, they'll be wrapping themselves in gauze and rolling in kerosene with games against the top 4 teams in the league this week: Islanders, Flyers, and Pens. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's kind of weird, like, because you don't want to trade Taylor Hall right now. I mean, it with the flat cap and everything considered, it's unlikely he'd resign, and you don't want to give up a draft pick for the 2021 draft, or even like some sort of prospect, just because the next 2 years of like incoming players is going to be kind of weird because a lot of the minor league teams aren't playing.
Yeah, and it's all just going to be really weird. Everybody's like playing the safe game, I think, with the expansion draft shit.
Yeah.
What's Taylor Hall get paid? 8, 9, 10?
No, I think he signed a pretty team-friendly deal of 4-3 or something.
Is Ralph Kruger related to the Kruger from the overrated one from Chicago, who's a great bottom 6 addition, as you would say?
I'm not
Marcus?
entirely sure, but
Okay.
real quick here, Taylor Hall, I was so wrong. He signed an $8 million deal with the Sabers.
Honestly, I don't know. If Jeff Skinner's worth 9, it's a hell of a lot better deal to have Taylor Hall for 8.
I mean, yeah, it is. And if Jeff Skinner's 9, Taylor Hall is easily 12 or 13.
I was just going to say, I'd give him 18. He's at least twice the player that Jeff Skinner is. Real quick on the East, one of my least favorite players got suspended for 7 days this week. Tom Wilson. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, that was a pretty shitty boarding call. I don't know. As a Bruins fan, I have to acknowledge that the team has never been historically clean.
No.
I will throw it out there. I think it has been like 5 years since Marchand has slew-footed somebody, and the last time he got suspended, it was for kissing. So
Sure. I don't think it's been that long since he's done something fuckboyish, but I hear you. Tom Wilson's the dirtiest player in the league.
Yeah. I don't know. I think with the whole CTE thing, I think like the culture around like hits to the head and like boarding. I love violence. I love fighting, but like I don't love finishing a check on a player that has no idea you're fucking coming and they're totally compromised.
The headhunting is really gross. It's one of the violences in hockey that I don't enjoy. I hate seeing people go slack like that when they get hit really hard into something. I think it's just like one of the more atrocious, scary things that happens in professional sports.
Absolutely. I don't know. I'm not trying to like steal a mic or anything, but like just as like I watch all teams all week long as like a general hockey fan, I wouldn't wish that on like my most hated team. Like I hate that shit so fucking much.
I mean, I might wish it on like a Brendan Lemieux or Tony DeAngelo, but that's because I think those guys die.
I'd rather see Tony DeAngelo just get ragdolled or something. I don't know. Maybe if it was Curtis Gabriel who fucking just like elbowed him into oblivion. I don't know.
Curtis Gabriel learned how to fight in the last few years.
He fought fucking Ryan Reeves.
I know, and he did
night.
okay.
Yeah.
But do you remember when he was in the minors for the Wild and he got knocked out by that kid who's like 5'8"?
Yes. It's a pretty. If we had social medias, I would share it to our feed. But that was. It was kind of surprising to see happen. I don't know. It's just like
the whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing was crazy. But I'm glad he's getting paid, and he's in the league now. Good for him.
Yeah. Oh, and we should talk to him for being a rainbow tape guy. His Twitter's I think he's actually down.
Good. I don't know anything about him. But I think it's nice that he semi-legitimate with his activism, or hockey activism.
His Twitter's is full of, I don't know, just good politics.
That's tight.
Yeah,
that's great. That's what's up.
Sorry for talking shit on you last week, Curtis Gabriel.
You're not good at hockey, but now you can fight, and you're okay on the social media.
All right, so moving on to the Central. Gotta acknowledge Brent Seabrook here. First and foremost, it's noted that his last contract he had will allow him to get paid for the next 3 years. It was terrible when they signed him to it, and it made the whole team irrelevant for the last 2 or 3 seasons. But I have to say he's responsible for some of my agony and an equal amount of triumph. It's weird not having the Hawks be relevant contenders, and while they look good now, it's strange without him on the blue line. Brent was drafted 14th overall in the 2003 entry draft, 7 picks behind Ryan Suter, and 6 picks ahead of Brent Burns. Scored 440. Scored 464 points, 103 goals, 361 assists, in 1,114 NHL games. He scored 59 points, 20 goals, 39 assists, in 123 Stanley Cup playoff games, helping the Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup in 2010, 2013, and 2015. He'll remain on long-term injured reserve for the duration of his contract that will free up $6.8 million in cap for the next 3 seasons, which is pretty good news because Chicago is looking good. As of Friday, the 5th, they picked up points in 4 of the last 5. I kind of wrote them off when we did our little predictions in the first episode, just based on how shitty they were last year, but I kind of did some digging. And they have Connor Murphy, Adam Boquist, and Adam Bowie are all looking like future pillars to the next generations of the D-core. So I don't know. I think Chicago might be running back into relevance here. And honestly, they look good. That fucking rapist knows how to skate skill for being 32.
He's really good at offense.
Yeah.
He's also I want to point out that 2 things. One, Brent Seabrook, that brutal hit on David Backes when the entire Chicago team talked shit to David Backes' essentially lifeless corpse on the ice while he was knocked out. And 2, Patrick Kane's first charge was for assaulting a taxi driver in, you guessed it, Buffalo, New York, his home city. So fuck Buffalo, fuck Patrick Kane. But yes, the Hawks still have something. That DeBrincat's really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're gonna be relevant, I think, if not this year, in the next year or 2.
Yeah, and honestly, I think they will make the playoffs, but if they don't, and they get like a top 10 pick this year or next year, fuck. Oh, Kirby Dack too. Can't forget about him. Seabrook took in Kirby Dack when he started playing for the team. But yeah.
Oh, for cute.
For very cute.
For very cute. We love the baby hockey players staying with the old hockey players. It's a very cute concept.
It is like a cult. I like cults.
It's the hockey's one big silent cult. Yep. A cult full of people who don't know how to talk.
But yeah, hopefully Chicago starts dropping games though, because fuck them, and we talked about them, much like my beloved Panthers, who ever since I publicly expressed my admiration for have just been on a
Again and
complete
again.
skid. Um, yeah, they dropped games to Dallas and Carolina, only winning against the Preds, who would be in last place if Dallas had played more than 18 games.
Yeah.
Most teams are about halfway through the season now, with 20 to 23 games played. So yeah, it's just strange. Speaking of Dallas and speaking of Florida, they play each other this week, and hopefully Panthers can catch their groove. Dallas has not really had a consistent season yet, and this will
Yeah.
be their first time, I think, in a long time where they have 4 games in a row. So it'll be good to see what Dallas can actually do, and good to see if Florida can hang in there after playing a bunch of games. A lot of teams
Yep.
are playing every other day now, so it's just kind of brutal. As of Friday night, Carolina and Tampa Bay are tied for first with 33 points, Florida in third with 32, and Chicago in fourth with 29.
Okay. Real quick before we move on from the Central, fuck Jamie Benn. For those who are not super plugged into hockey, which is probably most of our listeners, Jamie Benn is a star at points, superstar on his team. One of the best draft steals of all time, a 5th rounder who a couple seasons averaged over a point per game. He was caught liking a Instagram post by Candace Owens, who, if you're not aware of, is the black female Rush Limbaugh. Except she's attractive. Rush Limbaugh was never. I mean, she is. I think she's a horrible
What
person,
are
but
you saying?
she's pretty. I'm not. Everybody knows it. That's why they fucking gave her a platform. She's like a hot black woman who hates fucking everybody. You don't even need to read the post to know that it was some transphobic bullshit. It's not super shocking that Jamie Benn is a fucking troglodyte, but he apparently an anti-trans douchebag.
Yeah, fuck that.
So, fuck him. Fuck his little brother who can't play hockey. I think it's his big brother, actually. I always think of how hard like holidays must be for guys like Marcus Foligno or Jordy Ben, like the less talented older brothers. Like,
Whoa.
do you think they get shit around their like Christmas table?
Why? Hold on. Maybe, but what?
Marcus Foligno is not as good at hockey. I know that he's got 5 goals or whatever. Nick Foligno's a captain. He's
Of Carolina Blue Jackets. Excuse me, Columbus Blue Jackets.
yeah, but he's still look at their career stats, Corey.
No.
There's Nick Foligno is a better hockey player than Marcus Foligno. Marcus, I'm really happy that you're doing so well. We love you on the Wild. You're a real class act. Your brother's better.
Yes, since you acknowledged Marcus's place on our team, I will maybe acknowledge that it's possible his brother may be better than hockey than him for the earlier part of his career, but I think Marcus is perhaps a late bloomer who is growing into the hockey player.
Okay, we love a bottom 6.
When they produce, yes, they can be
All
a
right.
value.
Sorry, continue the start.
You know who's rolling 4 lines in the West?
The Wild.
No, Vegas.
Oh. Vegas.
Dude.
That's true.
Dude, Vegas is just insane. 8-2 in the last 10. Scoring at least and in the last 4 games, have put up at least 4 goals, and it's just insane. They are first by a reasonable. No, West is tight. They're in first by 2 points, and now we're going off stats that are as of Sunday morning due to Bodega headphones. No offense, I'm sorry I threw it in.
No, it's okay.
I'm an asshole, forgive me.
It's valid.
But yeah, first place with 33 points. St. Louis is 31 in second. Colorado in third with 28, and Minnesota in fourth with 27 points.
Yep, because they lost.
Yeah, they did. Colorado, I wanted to point out that Colorado gave up 6 goals the San Jose Sharks, which we severely shit on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Teams have bad nights though, Corey. It's just it happens.
Sure, they did come back and win 4-0 the next day.
That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's actually a statement on Colorado versus San Jose. I think just for one night, everybody in San Jose ate their cream of wheat, which I did have somebody hit me on the Instagram to tell me is a wheat-based oatmeal. They went on to say that their mom had a real big cream of wheat thing and has cream of wheat merchandise in their childhood home.
Oh, like one of those glowy light up signs.
I assume that it's like like the beer, the like Miller High Life like light up signs that bros have in their fucking frat rooms or whatever. I imagine it's something like that, but she hasn't actually sent me a picture, so who knows. But that's in case people were also curious about what cream of wheat is.
Thank you for that, for real.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bless us.
But yeah, Minnesota Wild were killing it. They went on a 7-game winning streak. 6-game winning streak, getting points in 7 games, but they have been on a little bit of a skid. They did lose to the Golden Knights twice. Last night they lost to the Coyotes. And this is really cliche to say this time. Yeah, Phil Kessel. My dad was at the game last night in Arizona, and I was like, Dad, you should get wasted and buy me a Phil Kessel retro jersey. He calls me with 3 minutes left. It was ending score was 5-2, so he calls me with 3 minutes left in the third, and he's just like, "Which fucking jersey do you want? You want the Hockey Fights Cancer purple one?" And I was like, "No, I want the one they're wearing on the ice." And he is just like, "Hey, where's the game worn? Well, I need the game worn." So I'm like, dude, what the hell? And I knew he was with my aunt, and I was just like, you guys are just getting fucking buck wild. But those jerseys are sick. And last night it was really like, I don't know why the NHL is so conservative about jerseys until there's no fans in the stands. But man, last night was just like visually pleasing. And it was, I don't know, a good game too.
Them throwbacks is fun. Real quick, also, I just want to make one comment about my headphones. Because we had some recording issues yesterday due to my headphones. And so I went to the smoke shop, not the bodega, but the smoke shop next to work. And I asked the mans, do you have any headphones? Just pink ones. And I was like, oh, I don't give a shit. And he was like, well, actually they're labeled rose gold. So if anybody fucks with you. So I have rose gold headphones.
That's crazy. Dude, shit, I don't want to make fun of you on this, but I gotta say, like, you could have had some fucking Beats by Dre by now, dude.
I know.
What are you putting up? $10-$12 a week? You could have had some, like, I don't know.
8 to 12. These were 9.
Could have had some
but
nice
yes,
skull
I know.
candies by now.
I think I'm at least 100 right now.
Sheesh. But yeah, looking at the West, Colorado, St. Louis, and Vegas seem to be holding it down. But fuck, dude, Colorado drops 2 or 3 in a row. They could be in the bottom too. Vegas and Arizona, not Vegas, LA and Arizona though. If they can wrap together a good week, maybe play it against Anaheim and San Jose, get some good rest. They're in the mix too. It's gonna be interesting. And
eat their cream of wheat.
If they eat their cream of wheat, and we kind of knew it was gonna be like this when we heard like the schedule. It was just gonna be like 2 teams are gonna run away with it, and then it's just gonna be.
There'll be some infighting down below. Should we do the West real quick for playoff predictions? Even though I think we're probably pretty close to the same.
Yeah, absolutely. You went first last week, so I'm gonna go first this week.
Your turn, Corey.
I think it will be Vegas, Colorado, St. Louis. I'm just taking the top 4 as it is because now I didn't have a hope that the Wild would do anything this year because they signed those terrible centers right before the season, and lo and behold, it's kind of working out for them. and they're just fucking fun to watch. Like
They're really fun.
they,
Kaprizov is a whole other world. He's like he's the real deal. He's really, 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 really amazing.
yeah, and
He's fun.
him and Zuccarello, they got some fucking chemistry too.
They
Like,
do actually. Zuccarello, I gave you shit the other week, and I'm still right. Zuccarello, that was a bad contract. I think it's like goofy, but he looks very competent,
yeah, and
and he looks good next to Kaprizov.
and Kaprizov just he's I don't know if they have like microchips that just like wires their hands to like find them on the ice. But dude, Kaprizov does all these crazy ass like no look passes in like the middle of like some fucking ballerina ice dancing shit. It's fucking insane. Like they, it's just fun to watch. But yeah, I hope they make it in. And honestly, you look at I don't know. We've won it. We've won earlier this year against Las Vegas. We've won against St. Louis. We've won against Colorado this year. Like, playoffs are gonna be fucking fun.
Yeah.
I hope that we make it in. I want to be a part of the postseason this year.
When you read about like the greats talking about playing hockey, like Gretzky or Lemieux or whatever the fuck, they always talk about like seeing the ice without looking at it, and it's really clear that Kaprizov has that. He just like, loath as I am to compliment another Russian player, he just like does. He sees everything. He's a crazy playmaker and explosive, and Lord knows what he'd be doing on a team with offensive talent. I'm actually just to be controversial, I'm going to take the Avs out of the playoffs and put the Coyotes in. I don't actually think that's going to happen, but I want there to be a possibility of one of us losing money. So
no, sure.
Otherwise, I
you wouldn't take LA?
No, I don't think LA's good. I think that Dustin Brown had that like fluke good 2 weeks at the beginning of the season, and everybody was like, "Oh, LA, they're better than we thought." But I don't actually think that they're worth a damn.
No, they're really not.
Jonathan Quick's is he still their number one goalie?
Yes, and I don't think that they're running a tandem even.
Yeah, I mean that's not a good sign.
Yeah, Calvin Peterson is very much a rookie goalie.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
That's their backup. He has played 12 games.
Okay.
And he's 4-4. So he's played about half the. Actually, maybe they are doing tandem, and I'm wrong. That kid's from Iowa though, and you can tell he just looks like a good old country boy. If he was
fucking
not playing
Iowa,
hockey, he'd be like, I don't know, running a farm or some shit.
When I was 20, the reason the same road trip that I decided I would never buy an jersey, both because of that Sheriff Arapahoe and because me and my friend almost got arrested on it. We broke down in Iowa and had to spend a night in this it wasn't that horrible. It was like a Super 8 or whatever, which was pretty nice for us on that road trip, especially towards the tail end. But we got drunk and we're like watching the cable in the hotel or whatever, and came across tractor polls, which is it's like a late night television event where Iowans get drunk. I assume that they're all drunk, and they see how far a tractor can go with a certain dragging a weight or pushing a weight or something. I don't understand any of the rules. It was actually kind of a good time, even if I don't think it's a sport.
Wait, so they were operating large farm material and they
were
drunk?
No, I mean I don't know that the drivers looked like they took it seriously, like on some have you ever gone to an amateur wrestling thing, like a pro wrestling where dudes have that outfits and shit? These dudes were taking it as seriously as your stoner roommate who decides that they're going to be a pro wrestler.
Did they have intro music for their tractors?
They did.
Are you serious?
And they had flair on the tractors and shit. It was wild. It was honestly kind of a good time. The only other good thing on TV was Tank Girl, which we watched first, but then we were like, I'm actually okay with this. About the tractor pulls. That's it. That's my Iowa story.
I love it.
A lot of pills there.
yeah, I don't know. Emily, my partner, is like all about Iowa, and
Interesting.
she went to college at Grinnell, and
Uh,
I only know Iowa from playing empty rooms in my stint
yeah.
as an amateur musician, so I don't really give a shit about the place. That was always just a pit stop on the way to St. Louis for me.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
They do actually have two really good colleges, but I'm listening to this podcast, Chapo Trap House, which I think is like pretty good. And they talk about abolishing college, and I am all for it. So, other than I don't even believe in their good colleges, so I think we should abolish college.
I'm just processing all that information that you just.
It's an elitist fucking pursuit that people can't fucking afford, and it's stupid. And we should just have like individual trade shit, anyways.
No, absolutely. You just kind of like, you were like, college, no college, fuck college. Oh, all right.
Those were my emotions too, Corey. I'm also confused.
So
I digress.
Yes, the North.
The North.
Calgary fired their coach. They fired Ward and hired a Sutter.
For a coach who looks just like him. I want everybody to look up Joffrey Ward, Daryl Sutter. They look like.
I don't know. You look at Ward's chin and it's like defined, and it's almost like Sutter, who's always like kind of biting his bottom lip in. It kind of looks like he just like doesn't have a chin or something.
He doesn't really have.
He doesn't have like the bottom half of his mouth. Like he just looks.
Maybe
like
it's just that they do a very similar facial expression. They have like the crabby old white man facial expression, which is shared by 28 of 31 coaches in the NHL.
Yeah, sure.
It's a real old boys club. I don't have like numbers or anything, but coaching in the NHL, I think, is kind of a dinosaur, and I think that eventually they'll adapt to new theories and concepts. But right now, they still just like are recycling the same old white men who want defense first, tough boy hockey.
For sure. But yeah, Calgary lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their last 10, and made a coaching change. They are still a ways away. They're still 4 points out, so not that far actually from being in the playoffs, which is kind of interesting because in the same week, Vancouver didn't do so well, and Vancouver Canuck fans have like been pretty vocal and said, "Well, what the fuck are we gonna do?" And Vancouver media is just like, "Oh, they're sticking with their coach," and it's just kind of interesting. I was gonna do a complete rip on Vancouver because they have some really shitty contracts and some really unfortunate healthy scratches this season, but I think I'll save that for next week because I don't know, I feel like I talked too much about that with like Buffalo, and it's getting nice out, so
give the people one a week. I like it.
And not much really going on aside from the coaching change. Toronto has just been on a complete tear. Speaking of Vancouver, though, they did lose to them twice, but then had only lost 2 games in the last 12. I don't know. They're just kind of running away with shit. They're running stuff in Canada.
Yeah.
Anything.
Battle of Alberta. There was a fun Battle of Alberta. We had a couple fights. Milan Lucic and the kid from Edmonton. I don't remember what his name is. That doesn't really matter. James Neal came out of retirement of violence and fought Matthew Tkachuk and purported himself pretty well. It was a fun fight. We love to see Matthew Tkachuk get punched in the face. I think James Neal is probably, this is a baseless claim, but I imagine that he's like a shitty white dude. I don't really know. Baseless claim. I totally acknowledge that, but he's got that face. But there was that open mic moment where he gets penalized when the other guy doesn't, and he's arguing with the ref, and he's like, "Why do I get the call? Like, we both he shoved me first, whatever." And the ref's like, "You're the most violent." And then he's skating into the penalty box, and all like existential goes, "What is violence?" I just think it was a great moment in hockey.
It's
Look
amazing.
up James Neal open mic.
Remember when James Neal and Milan Lucic got traded for each other?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah, know which side of that trade was better though? James Neal.
James Neal.
James
Absolutely.
Neal's still like kind of an okay hockey player. Milan Lucic is a very tough box of rock who can skate.
It's true.
I'm sorry, I think he's just like an idiot.
Fair. You can think that. That's fine.
When he got all weepy talking about, well, if he wants to tell you guys that, that's when he threatened Dale Weiss in the handshake line. I don't know. He's
When he was in Boston.
Yeah, when he was in Boston, Dale Weiss was in Montreal. They had that they lost, and then Lucic like told Dale Weiss he was going to kill him or whatever, and Dale Weiss told on him. And then they interview Milan Lucic, his like big dumb face, and his like bottom lip is trembling, and he's just like, if he wants to be telling you guys stuff like that, I just and it's a funny interview because
Maybe he didn't want to get caught with like a
No,
murder charge.
I totally understand that he was annoyed. I'm annoyed by snitching and dry snitching too. I don't think it's radical behavior. Everybody don't snitch unless it's on like a rich white politician. But it was just like watching this like fucking caveman like get all hurt. It was goofy. Milan Lucic is goofy. I think he's a goof. That's it. That's the whole
We
rant.
should just fought him the next season. Like what? It's kind of.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
kind
Why
of a
wouldn't?
bitch move.
Yeah, I just fucking yeah. I don't know. They're both. Milan Lucic made a lot of money for like 2 good seasons though, so good for him.
He's still making a lot of money.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. He had 2 good seasons and then signed for some money, and now he's just like, I don't know, like pre-current Cassian.
What man? That's like kind of tight though about being an athlete. Like, if I have 2 weeks that are really
Yeah.
good and productive at my job, I may make the newsletter.
Or get a 50-cent raise.
Dude, you're a professional athlete.
Yeah.
You make millions of dollars for the rest of your
Jeff-
working career.
Jeff Skinner has one like lucky year that means fucking $50 million to him. Must be fucking nice. He's gonna retire in like 3 years too.
God damn. He should. I bet you Jeff Skinner's just like, fuck, somebody just throw me on the boards, break my femur, put me out
I'm
for
sure
a
he is.
season.
When you're like,
and
I'll
then
move
pull
to
a Seabrook.
fucking California, you know? Fuck.
Yeah.
Seabrook won cups though. Seabrook was a part of
No,
the good
for
team.
sure, for sure.
Jeff Skinner literally had 1 good season.
No,
And it was
absolutely.
Anyways,
You want to talk some Jagr or what?
let's talk some fucking Jagr. I've been teasing a little Jagr for a couple of weeks now. Let me bless the people. Jaromir Jagr is still playing in the Czech league right now today. I think he's arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest. I think he is the second best player of all time, looking at stats and whatever else. And I know that we want to like celebrate good Canadian and American boys, but I think Jaromir Jagr was like one of the most incredible hockey players of all time. He ranks second in points behind Wayne Gretzky, and that was with 3 years of his relative prime being spent in the KHL due to weirdness and him leaving the NHL. He, for 20 years, I just think that this is a crazy stat about the dominance of these 3 boys in hockey. Between 1981 and 2001, only 3 players won the Art Ross. Wayne Gretzky, who lost his father this week, rest in peace. Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr. It's just crazy to have that level of dominance. I mean, you look at the last 20 years and how many players have won? I have no idea, but I bet it.
Many. Who won it last year?
I don't even. The Tampa Bay kid?
Nope.
Who?
Just one more guess. Just please. Please.
Pasta.
Leon Draisaitl.
Leon Draisaitl, which is also kind of crazy that he's paid like $4 million less than David because he's pretty. Anyways, Jagr, crazy hockey player, had a 149-point year. One year, won 5 Art Ross trophies, the highest scoring. 2 cups. He's got the triple gold, the gold for the country, which was a big deal for the Czech Republic when it happened. People were very, very enthused. Played with Pittsburgh for a number of years. Mario Lemieux came back out of retirement. Jagr got a little hurt. Something happened. Nobody really knows. Lots of salacious rumors regarding it. He got traded to the Washington Capitals for nothing. Actually, all of his trades were kind of for nothing. Like it never worked out, but which is weird. But they signed him to a massive contract that got knocked down 11 million in the early 2000s, which is like kind of crazy. A CBA in 2005 knocked that down to 7.8. He ended up leaving to Russia for 3 years from 2008 to 2011. Then he returned and fucking played till he was 44, maybe 45 in the NHL. In his 44th year, he led the Panthers, albeit a very subpar Panther team, but still led the team in scoring with 66 points, which is like really fucking crazy.
He played with them for another season after that too.
He did play with them for another season, and then he bounced for a minute around for half a season.
No, he just went to Calgary.
But didn't he end up? I thought he signed a tryout contract, and then it didn't work out the year after.
I'm not sure, but I only know that he was with Calgary because I bought tickets to a Wild game against Calgary, hoping that he would be on the ice and I could watch him during warm-ups. Wasn't on ice during warm-ups, and sure as shit, when they go to announce the scratches for it, Jaromir Jagr was scratched, and I would just kind of wanted to just write him a letter and be like, dude, I've been watching you my whole life. You should have just played in Minnesota. He only played 22 games that last season, though. For the
I bet he owed somebody in Minnesota money because he was a prolific is a prolific, I assume, since he's still playing at 49. He needs that money coming in. He's like a gambling capital A at several times in his career. He admitted that he owed people $1 million or more to weird semi-legal, maybe mob run bookie scenarios. He played for 9 teams, so my assumption is that the teams that he didn't play for were all in cities that he owed the mob money. He also, from a political standpoint, he's kind of a bootlicker. He talked about, and it makes me remember that people as a kid, I remember people saying that they thought Ronald Reagan was the best president ever, which is so horrific, and it'd be laughable if people didn't probably still feel that way. We talk about Reagan era Republicans and how they're current Republicans, which is maybe true, but holy shit, Reaganomics was not a good look. Jagr, I hope you take it back. Ronald Reagan, rest in piss. He's very anti-communist. He's a huge proponent of a Czech political party that's kind of like ANCAP-y, and not, I think, in a more conservative capacity, and is a little bit weird. So, some bad looks. He had a young model try to extort him, and he was just kind of like, no, it's fine, because they slept together. And then she published the thing, and he was like, yep. And that's funny. As if anybody thought he would spend money on something other than gambling.
Right.
Stays in great shape. That's it. Yeah. What? Sorry.
No, I totally interrupted you. My bad.
No, I didn't have. I was winding down.
No, it was a YouTube thing I was watching when you said this initially a couple weeks ago, and it is pretty well known that he was a pretty big gambler. The equipment manager or something for the Pens was interviewed, and he was like, yeah, Jaromir would be last on ice for pregame warm-ups, making sure that his bets went through for the night, making sure he caught the bookie. So it's just dude,
shit's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's an addiction. It's something to be taken seriously, but it's also just pretty crazy. I don't know.
I'm gonna make fun of Charles Barkley for it always.
For sure.
And
For sure.
this is adding fuel to a unproven fire, but pretty well known that Michael Jordan's pops got killed over his gambling debts. So
It's
just
kind of.
putting
Did
it
you
out there.
watch that Last Dance shit?
No, I should. I hear it's really great.
It's
Actually,
really good,
but
and
yeah,
that makes it into the thing.
does
and,
it?
And it's not like it gets touched on a little bit. They don't frame it like it was Mike's fault for it, but there
Sure.
are definite hints. If you're looking for it, it's there, kind of thing.
But they touch on that motherfucker
Yeah.
like a priest.
Whoa, chill.
I'm sorry, that's a little dark.
Just because we're Sunday morning doesn't mean we talk about chill on the station. But yeah, one last quick thing on Jagr. He is playing for his hometown club that he played with when he started in 1988.
Cute.
And is now still playing with Cladno. Cladno. Excuse me.
Cladno.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure how to pronounce it, so I don't want to butcher it too hard. But yeah, it's just kind of that's a romantic aspect of his career. His
Absolutely.
pretty storied career.
Yeah. Someday I'd like to go to Prague when the world lets Americans into their country again. Hopefully, maybe America will cease, and then we can just hop on a revamped steamship to go where we want to visit
Let
in
me tell you, I got a buddy.
Anarcho waters.
I got a buddy who moved from here. 3 years ago now, and he's making synthesizers in Prague. One of the
I
coolest
bet he
motherfuckers
fucking
I know. He's
is.
tearing it up. Seems like he's
They
pretty
love-
stoked.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's a fucking great time. I think that all those Eastern European noise techno scenes are supposed to be a great time. I don't do the right drugs for that sort of world, but I know people have a great time with it.
Yeah, for sure. What a
Although I'm in the city of house, so
house?
yeah.
Oh, like music, house music.
yeah. Chicago. That's what we say.
Tight. I'm in the city of just shit, which is a reference to my own band, so I'm kind of a prick for saying that. What's up for next week? Hold up. If we suck at this, and I don't know. I'm gonna do. I keep saying this, but shit is just busy, and I have my eyes on the NHL. I feel bad. The PWHPA's Dream Gat Tour is in Chicago, and we are recording this section of the podcast. I don't know why I'm lying. We're just re-recording on Sunday and using Friday stats and notes. I don't know why I'm telling a lie.
They can know.
But yeah, PWHPA, they're about to drop puck here in about an hour in Chicago for their second leg of the Dream Gat Tour. Maybe next week I will go over stat lines and interesting things from that. Last two. We'll give them some love there. What do you got for next week, Sammy?
I'm going to talk a little bit about TBI and CTE things, concussion issues, a la things that Tom Wilson does to people. I'm also we're going to talk a little bit in depth as I get, about Clint Malarchuk, who some hockey fans may recall from getting his throat slit by a skate on the ice. It's a super content warning video. It's really fucking intense, but the story that follows is even more intense, and I think it's really interesting. And then we'll talk about just in general kind of some of the effects and sleaziness of the NHL in terms of concussion stuff. I know we've touched on it briefly before, but I'm gonna look up real facts for you lovely listeners. Yeah.
If you tried to watch our live stream on Tuesday, sorry. I'm learning about all this stuff.
We're putting it together.
I'm an IT guy, not an AV guy, so it's a little
hey.
over my head, but yeah.
Also,
anyway.
Thank you, Corey, for doing all technical aspects of this here production, because he knows I'm no good. He's taken on a lot for us.
No, it's with the pandemic and shit. One, I'm happy to have a hobby, and 2, I'm happy
Love a
doing
hobby.
this with you.
Yeah. That's great.
All right, I will talk
Right.
to you next week.
Sounds good. I'm going to take a walk with my rose gold headphones.
Bye.
Bye.